All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever been looking at a company's financial report and, you see this sudden, almost unbelievable jump in performance? It's so tempting to just get excited, right? But sometimes the real story, it's hiding in the accounting methods. So today, we're going to peel back the layers on how accounting changes, and yes, even simple errors can totally warp a company's financial picture. And more importantly, how you can see right through it.
So check this out. Here we have a company whose gross profit margin shot up from 16.2% to 19.1%. I mean, in just 1 year, that is a massive leap. Now, on the surface, this looks incredible, like a huge win. Maybe they scored a cheaper supplier, or maybe their new pricing strategy is crushing it. But as a smart analyst, you know that numbers that look this good, well, they demand a closer look.
And that's really the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? Is this real, honest-to-goodness improvement? Or is it just a trick of the light, something caused by an accounting change that makes the numbers look way better than they actually are? It's time to put on our detective hats and figure this out.
This whole mystery, it really boils down to one absolutely critical idea in financial analysis: comparability. I mean, the whole reason we look at a company's numbers over several years is to spot trends, right? But you can't spot a real trend if the company changes the rules of the game halfway through.
That's it, right there. If a company messes with how it accounts for its business, you're not comparing apples to apples anymore. You're comparing apples to, oranges. It completely breaks the trend line and can seriously fool investors about how the company is really doing. What looks like amazing growth might just be a different way of measuring things.
So, how do we crack this case? Well, our first step is to line up the usual suspects. There are basically 4 main ways a company's books can get twisted around, and we're about to put every single one of them under the microscope.
All right, here's our lineup. First up, we've got a change in principle. Think of a company just deciding to switch how it values its inventory. Then there's a change in estimate. This is like suddenly deciding a machine is going to last 5 years longer than you originally thought. Third, a change in reporting entity, which happens when a company's financials suddenly absorb a whole new business. And last but not least, the simple accounting error, just a good old-fashioned mistake.
Okay, let's zoom in on our first suspect. A change in principle happens when a company switches from one valid accounting method to another. Both methods have to fall under what's called GAAP, or generally accepted accounting principles. The classic example is switching inventory methods, maybe going from LIFO, that's last in, first out, to FIFO, first in, first out. Now, both are totally legal, but that one switch can have a huge impact on the final profit number.
Suspect number 2 is the change in estimate. Now, this isn't about fixing a mistake. It's about refining a judgment call. As a business runs, it gets new information. Maybe a big piece of machinery is just holding up way better than expected, so the company extends its useful life for depreciation. This is a totally normal and necessary part of accounting.
Next up, a change in reporting entity. This one's a biggie because it changes the very scope of the company we're even looking at. So imagine a company goes out and buys another business. All of a sudden, it starts including all of that new business's revenue and costs in its main report. Well, of course the numbers are going to look different. The company itself literally got bigger.
And finally, we have accounting errors. These are just whoops, straight-up mistakes. Could be a simple math error, misapplying an accounting rule, or maybe overlooking some key information that was totally available at the time. Unlike a change in estimate, this is a flat-out correction of something that was wrong from day one. Okay, so we've identified our 4 suspects. Now for the important part. How do we fix the books so we can get back to a fair comparison? Well, each of these issues has a very specific fix, and it's crucial to get it right. Let's break down the procedure for each one.
For our first culprit, that change in principle, the accounting world has a fix called retrospective application, and it's basically a form of time travel. Seriously, the whole idea is to go back in time and rewrite the financial history so that the past numbers are directly comparable to today's.
So retrospective just means looking backward. In practice, accountants have to go into the old financial statements and adjust everything as if the new accounting rule had been used all along. This means going back and recalculating assets, liabilities, retained earnings, the whole shebang. It's a ton of work, but it's the only way to get that true apples-to-apples comparison we need for any kind of meaningful trend analysis.
But now, when it comes to a change in estimate, we do the complete opposite. There's no time travel here. The past is left alone because remember, it wasn't an error. It was the best guess they had at the time. So instead, the fix is perspective, which just means we only look forward.
Perspective application is way simpler. You just draw a line in the sand. Past results, don't touch them.
The new estimate only affects the numbers for this year and all the years to come. So with our machine example, you wouldn't go back and change last year's depreciation. Nope. You just start using the new, lower depreciation expense from today going forward.
Now, what about a change in entity, like when that new subsidiary was added? Well, we go back to a familiar tool. Just like with a change in principle, the fix is retrospective application. You got to go back and recast all the old financial statements to include the new business so you can create a consistent history for the company as it looks today.
And finally, our most straightforward case, the accounting error. When there's been a flat-out mistake, the fix is called exactly what you think it would be, a restatement. You just have to go back and fix what was broken. Simple as that.
And here's a super important point. Even though they have different names, a restatement for an error works in exactly the same way as retrospective application for a principal change. The mechanics are identical, because the goal is identical. Go back and revise the past statements so they're accurate and comparable with the present.
So, after all that jargon and all those rules, why does any of this really matter? Well, it all comes back to that amazing profit margin we saw at the very beginning. All of these fixes, they're designed to do one thing: restore the trend line that an analyst needs to do their job.
And that right there is the payoff. Once these fixes are in place, the financial statements become comparable again. That sudden, amazing jump in profit margin can finally be analyzed correctly. We can now see if it was a genuine improvement in the business or just the result of an accounting change that's now been properly applied to the past.
Okay, now here's a pro tip for you, and trust me, this is a classic exam question. If a company was using some non-standard method, non-GAAP method, and then switches to a proper GAAP one, that is not a change in principle. It is an error correction. It means they were doing it wrong before, and now they're fixing it. It's a subtle distinction, but an absolutely critical one.
And this all leads to the human element of accounting. While all these fixes are necessary to get the numbers right, they can seriously spook investors. I mean, think about it. When a company has to publicly go back and say, hey, our numbers from last year were wrong, it makes you question everything. Shareholders start to wonder if management knows what it's doing, or worse, if they were trying to hide something. It can be a massive blow to their credibility.
Look, at the end of the day, understanding these little accounting details is what separates a casual observer from a really sharp analyst. It's the key to looking past those flashy headlines to find out what's really going on under the hood. And that brings me to my final question for you. Now that you're armed with this knowledge, which companies in your own portfolio might just deserve a second look?